This story goes back over 30 years. Back to the mid-90s when floppy disks were king. Dial-up internet was barely a thing. And kids like me lived for PC games. Now, if you were into gaming back then, you know how hard it was to get your hands on new titles. Local stores barely carried anything worthwhile, and online shopping was a fantasy. So me and my best friend, let's call him Tom, did the next best thing. We ordered games from overseas via airmail. It wasn't cheap, but it was worth every penny. Doom 2, The Settlers, Monkey Island, man, we had a solid collection. To save cash, we'd trade the games between us and copy the copy protection files, which were often part of the disc itself. We were two teenage nerds surviving on shared joy and pixelated graphics. Until he arrived. Danny transferred into our class mid-year, and at first, he seemed like a dream come true. Why? Because Danny's uncle, apparently, had access to tons of PC games. Stuff we'd only ever seen in magazine ads or heard about in playground whispers. Naturally, we offered to trade. We handed Danny our original copies, floppy disks in pristine condition, with the trust only dumb teenage boys could have. And what did we get in return? Floppy disks that wouldn't even load. Files that were corrupted. Games that were missing critical protection keys. Basically useless. Over the next few months, yes, months, we didn't get a single working game from this kid. Not one. Meanwhile, Danny ended up with all of ours. Even worse, the disks he returned were often scratched, bent, or sticky with God knows what. At first, we chalked it up to bad luck. Then we realized we were being played. You ever feel that mix of anger and betrayal that simmers just under your skin? That dull pressure in your chest where trust used to be. I'd come home, open a game I'd waited weeks to play, only to find it broken. I felt used. We weren't just being taken for fools, he was laughing about it. I could see it in his smug little smirk when we'd ask if the game worked for him. It wasn't just theft, it was disrespect. He was treating us like we didn't matter. And then came the final straw. Aside from gaming, I was a huge Queen fan. And in the early 90s, after Freddie Mercury's tragic death, Queen's legacy hit differently. For me, their music was more than entertainment, it was escape. Danny didn't just mock me for liking Queen. He made it personal. He'd snicker and say stuff like, "Why do you even listen to that gay guy?" Loud enough for everyone to hear. Proudly, as if being homophobic made him tough. His family? Ultra-conservative. His mom was deeply Catholic, and his dad ran a tight, old-school ship. Let's just say the word, liberal, wasn't welcome in that house. So when our school organized a class trip to an AIDS awareness event, one of those public health outreach things with flyers, talks about safe sex, and yes, free condoms, Danny was visibly uncomfortable. He rolled his eyes the whole time and made jokes under his breath. Typical, but me and Tom? That event gave us an idea. Back then, only a handful of people had inkjet printers. We were lucky enough to have one. That meant we could do something most teens couldn't. Make things look official. We went home that day, condoms and flyers in hand, and got to work. We carefully recreated the logo of the AIDS Foundation that hosted the event. Fonts, spacing, letterhead, we matched it all. Then we wrote a fake, very personal letter. Greater than, Dear Danny, thank you for your letter. We understand it's difficult being open about being homosexual, and you have many questions following the event you attended with your class. Please find enclosed a flyer that should answer many of your concerns, as well as some condoms. Please remember to always practice safe sex. The AIDS Foundation. We folded the letter, slipped it into a real envelope, included the flyers and condoms we grabbed at the event. But here's the genius move. We addressed it to Mr. Danny's last name. Not Danny, his father, because we knew who opened the mail in that house. A few days later, We casually asked Danny if he got any weird mail. He looked like a man who had watched his entire world catch fire. At first, he didn't say much. Just mumbled something about his mom being upset. But over the next few days, word got around. His mother had screamed. She was in tears. His father was furious. And Danny? Apparently, his parents were convinced he was gay. And in that household, that wasn't just frowned upon, it was war. He tried to defend himself, but the letter looked so real. They didn't believe him. He came back to school a hollow version of himself. His confidence? Shattered. His swagger? Gone. He suspected someone had set him up, and we did a little fishing. Just enough to keep the tension high. Eventually, we confessed. We wanted him to know. We wanted him to realize that messing with people, stealing, mocking, disrespecting, had consequences. Turns out, confessing wasn't the smartest move. We were dragged to the principal's office. Both sets of parents present. Danny's mom glared at us like we were the spawn of Satan. His dad looked like he wanted to punch a hole through the wall. Danny didn't say a word. Just stared at the floor. We explained why we did it. We told the truth. About the games. About the broken trades. About the mockery. About how he treated people like garbage and expected no one to push back.